Well, it appears that Pixar has finally hit rock bottom. After years of pushing woke propaganda on families, they had perhaps, actually, undeniably, their worst new movie release in history, signaling the effective end of Pixar, the company behind such family favorites as Toy Story and A Bug's Life is basically done now. And it's because they decided that they were more interested in pushing woke propaganda than putting out good movies. And it's a real shame because ultimately, this company was responsible for a lot of entertainment. Movies like A Toy Story, Bugs Life, Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, Cars, Wally. These were all incredibly wholesome, successful movies. But this weekend, and we're going to take a look at the downfall. Elio, which is their latest movie, had the worst box office opening for a Pixar film in history with just $20 million domestically. Now, I'm not sure what the budget was for this movie, but I imagine it was Elio budget. This stuff is not cheap because there's so much money spent on, you know, uh, Pixar's Elio overhaul, rewrites, director stuff, and a $300 million budget. Oh my God. This is it. Pixar is officially done. They're going to lose $200+ million on this. It's poetic that after numerous production delays, director switches, and screenplay rewrites, Pixar's latest animated feature, Elio, is finally hitting theaters in the shadow of its massive success of Lilo and Stitch, the live-action remake of the 2002 animated film. There's no denying that Elio boasts plenty of visual flair, crafted by a highly capable creative team at Pixar. However, almost everything about this story feels indebted to Chris Sanders and Dean Belois. Don't really care. Um, and the similarities between Elio and Lilo and Stitch are obvious from the plot synopsis alone. So, a troubled young boy with a hyperactive imagination struggles to connect with his peers and even his aunt and caretaker. He spends his time obsessing over space, the idea of alien life forms that exist in vast stars above him, as Olga struggles to balance her military career with raising her nephew. Rift forms of their small family right before he's accidentally beamed up into the Communiverse, an interplanetary council comprising of representatives from galaxies all over. I mean, the movie is very weird. It strives to be emotionally complex as Pixar's best, but fails. Due to Pixar's obsession with mass appeal, Elio loses in specificity. I would like to take a flawed but well-meaning animated flick like this over the cynical and manipulative Lilo and Stitch remake any day. It's especially ironic that these two Disney projects demonstrate the endurance of animation, even when it's a mid-tier Pixar film versus a live-action remake of a universally beloved classic. Still, for all its good-hearted thrills, Elio constantly reminded me of last year's Bloomberg article about Pixar. It was revealed that the higher-ups at the prestigious animation studio want to focus more on IP-driven sequels, with movies with guaranteed mass appeal stepping away from personal stories like Luca and Turning Red. Now remember, Turning Red was a story about periods, apparently, women menstruating or something, or becoming a woman. That was like the hidden meaning of that movie. Elio was Pixar's first movie led by a character of Mexican and Dominican descent. Oh no. While brief moments of cultural specificity exist in the script, they feel like leftovers from a prior draft that probably had a richer representation when compared with previous Pixar works that have celebrated cultural diversity. Even in Elemental 2023, the director went to great length to code his protagonist as Korean. Elio's identity is just a minor detail. Perhaps that's fine, but if we're given more time to exist outside the subtext, there could be a beautiful tale of a Latino boy forging community. Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares about that, and that's why these critics still don't get it. Let's take a look at how we got here. Okay, this is Pixar's theatrical release when adjusted for inflation. Now I have the non-inflation chart as well too, but it doesn't really matter. The original Toy Story, way back, 20 years ago, made almost $600 million. Then A Bug's Life was a step back. Toy Story 2 made almost 600 million, slightly better than the first. Monsters Inc. also did well. Then Finding Nemo hits with over $1 billion when adjusted for inflation. In fact, almost $1.2 billion in Finding Nemo. Then The Incredibles, 800 million. Cars didn't do well. Ratatouille, 500-600 million. WALL-E, 450 million. Up, which was a really weird movie, 800 million. Toy Story 3 comes out over $1 billion. But if we go back to Incredibles 2 even, right? That was $1.2 billion. And Toy Story 4 was $1 billion. So when Toy Story 4 came out, what year was that in? This is probably like 5-6 years ago, right? Toy Story 4 release date. This was 2019, so 6 years ago. So 6 years ago, we had Toy Story 4 make over $1 billion. Since then, when adjusted for inflation, the movie Onward lost money. Soul lost money. Luca lost money. Turning Red lost money. Lightyear lost money. Elemental did rebound and grossed near 200 million. That was kind of a weird story. And Elio is going to lose about $280 million. Well, $250 million is how much that movie is going to lose. This is when it's not adjusted for inflation. This is Pixar theatrical releases by estimated profit. So I'm sorry, this is profit they made. So I don't know how far in the red Onward, Soul, Luca, Turning Red, and Lightyear were, but it's safe to say they lost between $50 and $100 million each. Elio is going to be probably their biggest loss in history. I just don't know how do you come back from this? Pixar had its worst opening weekend ever with Elio. What happened? Aliens may have embraced Elio, but Earthbound audiences did not, marking the lowest opening forever for Pixar movie film and highlighting the challenges for original animated movies. Well, see, this is the thing. Hollywood's going to blame, because it's original. This is actually going to be bad for people who actually love movies. They're not going to care that part of the reason Elio tanked at the box office is because Pixar had betrayed parents and it was no longer kind of an automatic see this movie thing. It just simply, do I need to mention it? Let's go through. Disney sparks outrage after having trans story in Pixar's Win or Lose. Now that movie, is that even out yet? That's not even out yet. And they made sure to cram trans stuff in it. Disney has pulled a trans storyline from the Pixar original animated series. Oh, it's an animated series. Win or Lose, citing the needs of parents. The series follows the Pickles, a co-ed middle school softball team, throughout the week as they prepare for upcoming championship game. Each of the 8 episodes focuses on a different character and their life off the field, including the insecure kids and helicopter parents, and even a lovesick umpire, set to premiere on Disney Plus. I guess it premiered back in February. According to Disney, they had cut a few lines of dialogue from the episode that references a character's gender identity. A spokesperson for Disney confirmed that the story arc was removed to provide the following statement to Deadline Hollywood Reporter. When it comes to animated content for a younger audience, we recognize that many parents would prefer to discuss certain subjects with their children on their own time. See, if they had never put it there in the first place, okay, the fact that they removed it is a good thing. But the fact that there's still a bunch of articles talking about it means that parents aren't going to come back. Disney Pixar has not made a vocal and public commitment to simply not engaging in political ideology. Theater threatened to skip Lightyear kissing scene between 2 women. Again, this is a movie that came out that, of course, the kid had 2 moms and then they had to kiss and confuse every kid in the theater on why this kid had 2 moms. Again, if you want to talk about that stuff with your kid, very, very cool, totally fine. The problem is these individuals, it's not your right to force that on kids. And you see this in Oklahoma movie theater back down on its threat to skip through a brief same gender kiss in the latest Disney Pixar movie, and you had Chris Evans coming out and be like, shuts down Lightyear's lesbian character criticism. Well, how'd that work out for you? Lightyear lost $200 million. How about Turning Red, period? Is this what, did the red thing happen? Scene 2022. So they have this, is Turning Red about periods? The answer is yes. That's what Disney Pixar's Turning Red is all about. The latest Pixar movie has many people asking if Turning Red is a period metaphor. I mean, why? Turning Red is a good conversation starter. These kind of scenes can make girls feel so much more confident and accepting about their periods. Again, did parents ask for Disney to force that conversation on them? No, they didn't. You see the world of real, Pixar's Elio $300 million budget made $20 million. Remember, if it made $20 million at the box office, that means it only keeps $10 million of that. So it's going to lose $250 to $300 million. There's no way this movie just suddenly starts doing incredible. And now, so Disney's animated venture failed to lift off, and they're just going to be done making original stuff. Instead of worrying about making good original stuff and new IPs, we're probably just going to get a woke Toy Story 5, where Woody is into dudes and interspecial erotica with the dinosaur. That's, Pixar, I feel sorry for, fans of those franchises, but, are we going to get a Finding Nemo 2? Almost certainly. Will it be anything interesting? No. But they're going to blame it on original films when the fact is, it's just that they've been putting out crap for so long that everyone moved on. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, subscribe or follow down below. We'll talk to you again real soon.